Can I also have access to screen share whenever you get a chance? Because I'm going to do a
Make
presentation.
her co-host. Oh,
You don't need to make them.
that's it. Okay, I'm sorry. I can only look at one thing and concentrate. Like it's a boy.
No,
It's
I'm
a
sorry. Oh, there we
disability.
go. Got it.
Like she's doing it, but like I'm like
You're like,
I can only do one thing at a time.
It's like when you have to turn your volume down on your radio to look at an address while you're driving. It like doesn't make sense, but
Yeah,
so true.
that's what I'm like. I can't, like if she's fiddling with something on the computer, I can't talk.
yes.
Like I'm too busy watching what's going on. But anyway, welcome along to Team Live Right. And we're so excited to have you. So like when Jeff came along, he was like, I was like, who are like the people who are absolutely smashing it just now and killing it that can like get our team pumped, and like your name was one of the first ones that came up. So like really exciting. It's really funny because we've actually got two Brittnays. We've got you this week, and we've got Brittnay Hillico next week.
Okay,
as
love
well.
her.
So we've got like you back to back up, because I was like that. Have I already booked this call in?
Yes.
Anyway, so hopefully I've got this all correct with you. So you are currently 7-star Diamond, 2-star Elite. You're 60 months at SC10, National Wake Up Call speaker. And I've got that correct. You originally started in a nursery and sort of working in a nursery.
Yeah.
So
yes, I was a child care provider. So I went to somebody else's home and took care of their kids while they went to work. And then when I had my oldest, I got to bring him to work with me. And then a couple months in, I was like, Beachbody is making more, and it's a lot of work to get my kids packed up. So.
Right. Well, it's great because you've got some teachers and other people who work with kids and stuff in as well. So I think it's great. And like, we always love it because with our team, there's quite a lot of people who've come from that fitness background. So we're like super excited to hear it coming from that different perspective for the other guys from the team who've done that. And like, you're going to be chatting tonight about consistency and like how important it is to be consistent, but it's not just doing the same thing, but it's adapting to where you are, but being consistent with behaviors rather than actually the themes and stuff that you're doing. So I'm going to shut up now and pass it over to you, and you're good to go.
Of course. Yeah, I'll share a little bit about my background since you guys are more of a fitness background team. Like he mentioned, I did take care of another family as little kids. And hopefully there's not too much of language barrier. Obviously, we all speak the same language, but nursery kind of got lost in translation with me going into their home, and basically being a stay-at-home mom for their children is kind of like I was the house manager, so to speak. So I come from a background of all or nothing fitness. I never really was an athlete growing up, didn't work out. I'm 5'10", so always bigger than my friends, but didn't think anything was wrong with that. Then I got to university, I think is college, and started comparing myself to the people around me. And that's kind of when I got involved in fitness. Like maybe my body could look different than it always has. And I really went all or nothing. Like I was in the gym 3 hours a day, weighing every gram of every bite of every food that I ate, or I was doing absolutely nothing or binging. And so after I got married, I was really looking for what I've since then coined as normal people fitness. I just wanted to be a healthy mom. I did not grow up with a healthy mom. My parents have always been overweight, smokers. The vegetables came out of the pantry instead of the fresh vegetables with the produce, and just wanted to really lay that foundation for my own children. God willing, I would have them someday. They're upstairs sleeping, and I'm crossing my fingers that they stay napping. It's middle of the afternoon over here. So that's kind of how I got started. I was a customer first, and a couple months in, I just knew that I had to help other busy women that had struggled with that all or nothing find this normal people. 30 minutes in my living room. I can still have a beer on the weekends and push play on Monday, and kind of find this balance of grace over guilt. And I came from the generation above me, our parents were always on diets and still always overweight, and this all or nothing. I could lose weight for a vacation, but then what happens after the vacation, And so just kind of finding this balance is kind of my mission. So I'm going to share a little bit more about my story. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully I have it all prompted up. Yes. As he mentioned, consistency through seasons. So I am a mama of a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And so my secret sauce is come as you are and give what you got. You know what I mean? Every season is not going to look the same. And Kenzie James, a couple weeks ago on the National Wake Up Call, she was the night shift labor and delivery nurse with the twin boys, did an incredible job. I'm kind of going to piggyback off of everything she said. You just kind of have to pivot in seasons. There are days when I have 4 hours of focused work time, and there are days when I have 4 minutes while I'm rocking a nursing baby to sleep at night. You know what I mean? So just kind of pivoting and ebbing and flowing. So, like he mentioned, I started in June of 2016. I was newly married. I had tried a few different network marketing companies. I was a full-time childcare provider, 45 hours a week. I had zero desire to ever quit my job. I absolutely loved the kiddos that I was raising. I had them since like literally the week they were born. I thought that it was going to be absolutely seamless. I was going to take my kids to work with me. I would still have this passion project on the side of Beachbody, and I'd still make that full-time income. And I just planned on kind of doing that. My accolades, obviously, who mentioned those? I'm a six-figure earner for my third year in a row, about to lock in 3-time elite, 60 plus months Success Club when I put this together. It's quite a few more now, but none of that means anything, where I am current moment. I'm a mom of two, and I just could not imagine packing up my babies to go to work every day. I'm sitting at 5-star paid right now, and I've done this presentation a couple times, and I change that every time because sometimes I'm sitting at 1-star paid. Sometimes I'm sitting at 3-star paid. Sometimes it's the end of the month and I'm at Success Club 2. And I share that with you guys because sometimes we have these accolades in front of our name, especially when we're on stage or on a wake up call or speaking to a team. And you guys put us on a pedestal, but like I am just like you. My business, goes through seasons. And there are seasons of Success Club 50 and there are seasons of wow, Success Club 10 was hard this month. And there are seasons of, like I mentioned, there are seasons where I can do one-on-ones with all of my new coaches, and there are seasons when they get a pre-recorded video because I am in the trenches of a nursing baby or a puppy or whatever it is. And I just want to give you permission to know that your business does not have to look the same every day. And I have an analogy I'll get to here as I start. So basically, you saw the then and you see the now. Let's talk a little bit about the seasons in between. So this is where I got started. I got started in a 1-bedroom apartment. What you can see here of my living room was my workout space. It was my desk. This literally was my desk, the corner of my desk, my couch with a bar stool. And that was how I worked my business. And then we moved into my in-laws to save money. And that was my desk, like literally that's where I worked at, or my work. And then we bought our first home, and I had an actual office and a dedicated workout space. And then I work from my phone so much. Is anyone else frustrated with the new online office view on your phone? I can't wait for them to edit it. I was like, oh, I'm scrolling for days. I do so much from my phone because mom life. Like if the kids are swinging or they're in the backyard playing in the dirt, I'm checking messages and emails. I'm really bad at multitasking, but that's how I fit it in my day. I know there are some people that have that focus time, but I'm in the trenches of mom life right now. And so that's how I work my business. And now we just moved into this beautiful office that you see today. Seasons. Again, I get really sick when I'm pregnant. And so that was a huge season for me of just sharing the real and the raw. And this was a day that I threw up in my car all over myself because I couldn't get to something quick enough. And it was all over me. So I got to my friend's house and put on her husband's clothes. And then here's more of me sick. And I'm just taking you guys down this little trip of the seasons I've been in through my businesses. Here I am. This is one of my nanny girls, actually. My doctor had just told me that I was gaining too much weight throughout my pregnancy. She had no idea that I had a past of all or nothing mindset. She had no idea that I was leading a crew of hundreds of women on their health and wellness journeys. And she just defeated me. I cried so hard that day, but I shared that vulnerably because I know I wasn't the only person that's not gained the 25 pounds of I know the weight is different there, but the recommended weight of, my pregnancy. And so here I am showing up through the hard, pushing play when I can. And then my son was born with clubfoot. Is anyone familiar with what clubfoot is? We had no idea until he was born that he had clubfoot. So that was a huge wrench. We had weekly doctor's appointments. We actually switched from a local doctor to a doctor that was 6 hours away. That same doctor has since then moved, and he's over 1,000 miles away now. And so we have to fly to get my son treatment now. He's 3.5. He's almost done with his treatment. But essentially, this is a huge curveball in my journey that I've seen people take Beachbody off of their plate when life throws them different things, right? So I share that with you, not to brag or say, look what I've overcome. But when these things happened, I leaned in. When my son was born and I had no idea he was going to have clubfoot, we were able to afford the best doctor and the travel to the best doctor because of Beachbody income. I was able to have a backup plan and end up walking away from my job when he was 5 months old because of the foundation that I had worked hard to build in Beachbody, to have that flexibility, that time off, that freedom to travel to his doctor's appointments. Then I got to be in the Transform 20 test group, which is to date one of my favorite programs ever. 645 is tugging at my heartstrings for number one. I'm loving 645. Just started week 6 today. And I was in the best shape of my life, on fire. My team was ranked in the top 20 of the network. We were just on fire. And then we started trying for baby number 2. Oh, I forgot to mention, I brought my husband home from work, so he got to be home with us for like a year. And then through the pandemic and lockdown and all of that craziness, he decided to go back to work. So he's back to work right now, but we're in a season of wanting him home again. So I'm planting those seeds and talking about that vision again. Then we started trying for baby number 2. It didn't happen right away. Then we got pregnant with baby number 2. And then guess what? I was puking all day again, every day. So I'm just showing you guys that like, there is no, like, this is how I show up every day. I just show up how life is going, showing up with what I got and giving what I got to my audience, to my platform, and offering what I have. Here I am, literally, I look so sick in this picture, talking about a flash sale that I was running. And that's how I probably locked in Success Club at the end of the month, August 23rd, 2019, because I was so sick. Here I am, sick again. Just showing you that your Instagram does, then the baby came on March 2nd, 2020, and then the world shut down. But I'm just showing you guys this, that it's not the pretty, perfect pictures that I had a photographer take of me and my family outside. My brand is very much what you see is what you get. I had my hair curled this morning, but then it ended up back here with mom life. So what you see is what you get. I probably have stuff on my shirt. I do. Surely I do. Raising tiny humans. So this is my brand. And I know that so many new coaches or veteran coaches, even, we get hung up in what everyone else is doing. And I have the most success by showing up and honoring my season of life and attracting the woman on the other end that's going through exactly what I'm going through. Had the baby in March. And then at 4 weeks postpartum with my second, that's when I went back to work with my first, because I was able to take him with me. Do you guys have like super long maternity leaves? I'm so jealous of all of the paternity and maternity leaves in other countries. It doesn't make any sense. America is broken. But I went back to work at 4 weeks postpartum with my first, and I packed up our whole life. He napped in my arms. He screamed the whole way home every day because he was overly tired, and it was 5:30 p.m. traffic. And I just am sharing that vision of, I'm so glad that I don't live that life anymore. And then all of the civil rights stuff and everything that was going on in 2020, it was hard to show up on social media, right? But I was just showing up, honoring my truth. And then my husband went back to work. And then I still hadn't lost my baby weight. We ended up moving. It was like all of these like life events that were really hard. I ended up with postpartum depression and anxiety the second time around. Just sharing, again, none of this is like perfectly curated. And then 9-week control freak, I was like, all right, I'm getting my life back in order. I'm going to start setting an alarm again. I started putting my phone and my alarm across the room and getting out of bed and taking care of myself before I went into taking care of everyone else. And now my business is on fire again. When we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't help anyone else take care of themselves. And so that is our number one most important vital behavior, is being a product of the product and personal development. So are you getting physical, mental, and emotional results? Are you taking care of yourself? Because if you're faking that you're taking care of yourself, people are going to smell that right away, and they're going to know that you can't help them take care of themselves. And then now I get to spend all day, every day with my babies. I have a babysitter a couple hours, 1 day a week, and I get to be their mama. So now into the content. All of that is just to show you that my business has not been perfect. We've had deaths, we've had vacations, we've moved several times, we've had weight loss and weight gain. I have this, no one's progress is linear. And I think that it's sometimes so easy to put someone on a pedestal and think, oh, it was their overnight success, or they got there, despite all these challenges. And I want to share this quote with you. Soil responds to seeds, not wishes. So Amwala, those of you that are doing 645, he talks about daily deposits all the time. And I have another quote for you. An apple a day keeps the doctor away, not 7 apples on Sunday. You know what I mean? So it's just a little bit each day. And like I said, sometimes that little bit looks like a completed business activity tracker, a sweaty selfie in your bod group, 2 beautiful reels, and all of the check marks are boxed. The boxes are check marked. But sometimes that showing up looks like I drank my water today, I drank my Shakeology, I pushed play, and I liked a couple posts in my challenge group or in my bod group. You know what I mean? And I think that sometimes, let me see what my next slide is before I go off on a tangent here. Sometimes, yeah, here, set your non-negotiables. Sometimes we have this plate, right? And you have this plate and you hear about taking things off your plate when your plate is full, right? And Beachbody's on our plate. And sometimes it's the steak with the gorgonzola cheese and the mushrooms and the onions, and it's the main course. And that is Beachbody. And we are eat, sleep, breathe, live in Beachbody. If you stick around long enough, you have Beachbody branded everything. Like I could just grab Beachbody stuff all around me, right? Eat, sleep, breathe, Beachbody. But then sometimes Beachbody comes like the parsley, which is just like the accent on the side of the plate. But what I beg of you is to not take Beachbody off your plate entirely, because I have seen so many men and women in this business that have so much potential. They have organizations, they have teams, they have income coming in, but something happens, whether that be a genetic disorder that your baby's born with, whether that be a move or a new puppy or something tragic or a diagnosis or whatever it is. I've seen so many times people take Beachbody off their plate because their plate's just too full. But I'm here to tell you that if you just leave Beachbody on your plate, sometimes it's the main course, sometimes it's the palate cleanser in between the courses, right? But just leave it on your plate, because this company has the most incredible Moira Kusaba, who's the top coach, I'm sure you guys recognize that name. Her son was just diagnosed with type 1 diabetes over this weekend. She was in ICU with him, and she understands macros and how to help him manage his diabetes because of Beachbody. She was surrounded by prayer warriors and people bringing them food and covering their family because of Beachbody. She's just, when life gets hard, lean in instead of taking Beachbody off your plate. Whether you signed up yesterday or 6 years ago, Beachbody can be that for you. And the lies that you're telling yourself that it's not for you could talk you out of it if you take it off your plate. So just leave it on your plate. Don't beat yourself up if you miss. I'm getting ahead of myself. There's a slide coming with that. Okay, so set your non-negotiables. Be true to yourself and show up through your hard. And again, showing up through your hard is going to look different for everyone. Like I said, Kinsey James did an incredible job on the National Wake Up Call 2 weeks ago, talking about what that fluidity and flexibility looked like in her business. One day she would do a lot of one thing, and then the next day she would send follow-ups, or she would do nothing at all on her work days because she literally couldn't, but then she would work really hard on those other days. So set your non-negotiables. For me, that's Success Club 10, and it has been for over 5 years in my business. My husband, bless him, he does not understand much about this business, but in the middle of the month, he'll be like, what Success Club are you at? And if I haven't locked in 10 yet, he takes the kids and he's like, go sit in your office and send some follow-ups or invites. He doesn't understand much, but he understands Success Club 10 is one of the non-negotiables that I've set in this business for myself. And it's why I've built the business that I've built. You cannot go into management mode if you've, hit Success Club 5 and then take your foot off the gas, or, you've locked in those minimums, then you're never going to be moving your business forward if you take your foot off the gas when you hit those minimums. Hitting those maximums on my high months is what keeps me going through my low months. So don't take your foot off the gas once you've hit your minimums. Controlling the controllable. A bad month does not mean a bad business. There are so many months that I have only hit Success Club 10, and it's been a renewal at the, on the strike of clock hitting midnight, we all turn into pumpkins. Every stone has been turned over. Every renewal email has been sent. Every follow-up has been sent. I will send you an Amazon kickback if you check out with this puppy right now. A bad month does not mean a bad business. And I've seen so many of my newer coaches hit the ground running, and then month 3 or 4, you've kind of like lost that low-hanging fruit. All of your sister-in-laws and your neighbors have taken care of, and now you're like, well, who am I going to help? I've run out of people. Until I can go to the grocery store and nobody's smoking cigarettes or huffing and puffing to get up the stairs, until I go to the park and every mom is chasing her kids, not sitting on her phone on the bench, until I have seen those things happen, my job here is not done. There are always more humans to help get healthy. I just went to my hometown this weekend, about 3 hours away. And man, I was reminded how grateful I am for the lifestyle that I live. Because I saw people that I went to school with and grew up with, and I'm like, whoo, I, I'm just so thankful for the lifestyle, that the choices that I've made and the lifestyle that I'm getting to, lead for my family. So a bad month does not mean a bad business. And a bad month is so subjective, you guys. Missing Success Club is not the end of the world. Hitting a rank, guess what? Spoiler alert, you're going to drop that rank. Like I shared at the beginning, when you're hustling to lock in 2-star or 5-star or elite, there's a season of like, everyone's taking a deep breath afterwards. I've went from 7-star to 1-star before, like in the drop of a dime. And it's okay. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad coach or this isn't for me. And so I just want to make you aware of that. Like even the best of the best, take a couple step back before we step ahead again. So your brain is going to look for evidence. So what are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that you have no business builders on your team? Because you might have a couple discount coaches that are actually ready to start building a business, but you've wrote them off in your head as discount coaches. And they'll get switched over to preferred customers soon if you don't have that conversation with them. I just recently spent the last couple weeks, everyone that signed up with the 645 launch as a discount coach and is showing up doing great in our bod group, I reached out to them and a voice memo. I love voice memos. I said, hey, Kristen, you are absolutely crushing it in our bod group. I know that you got signed up with 645 just for the discount, but you've inspired me to recommit to my journey. And I was just wondering if you've ever thought about learning more about what I do as a coach so that you can help inspire more women in your life. She said, yes, you know what? I have been thinking about it. And so if you're telling yourself that you have no business building coaches, then you've already written off the potential of anyone in your downline. If you are telling yourself that you can't lose those last 10 pounds, or 645 is not for you, or I'll be the first to admit I do not know anything about what's happening with the preferred customer or the mixed bikes and stuff, but that's okay. I can learn it, and I know there's so many new and exciting things coming with our business that it's so easy for us, our brain, to say, I'm overwhelmed. There's more information than I can handle, and we shut down. But instead, I'm going to focus on what I do know, and I do know how to sell a 645 challenge pack. So I'm not going to focus on the bike training right now because I can't sell a bike yet. That's not coming for another month and a half. So I'm going to focus on what I do know. Look for the reasons that you are a good leader. You are a good coach. Did you go live on Instagram today? Was that scary? Celebrate that. Did you share a recipe in your bod group or your fit community that was valuable information? Share about that. When we get in the mode of like, I can't do it all, so instead I'm going to do nothing. Again, that all or nothing mindset that I talked about at the beginning of the call. If you only have 15 minutes to work your business, what are the most important things you can do? Create a post on social media, send a couple follow-ups, send a couple invites, and then wipe your hands clean of that day and said, you know what? I showed up for those 15 minutes instead of spending those 15 minutes stressed out about what you're not going to be able to accomplish today. So instead of letting our brain kind of trick us into like wasting those 15 minutes anyways, do what you do know how to do and then celebrate that you showed up in that little way today, because those little choices do add up. So here's a picture. I literally took this picture of my boys this morning. Flexibility and trial and error. Like I said, as an entrepreneur, as a parent, as a dog mom, we have to be fluid with our routines and systems. My youngest, with that perfect little smirk, did not sleep at all last night, but I still had to commit to this call today. I still had to get up and take care of myself. I still am working on getting my water in. I've not pushed play yet today, but I will before my head hits the pillow tonight. We have to kind of be fluid in our systems. Some quarters I'm able to offer one-on-one calls. And like I said at the beginning, sometimes it's a pre-recorded 15-minute welcome from me because I don't have that space in my calendar in those seasons. So I'm constantly asking myself, is this working? And then if it's not, I'm looking for a resolution. If you find yourself answering the same things over and over again for your new coaches or new customers, create a quick little PDF or a 10-minute, welcome video that's pre-recorded of you. And that's going to save so much time in your schedule than answering the same questions over and over again. So that's about what I have for content. It's more like a little pep talk than anything else, but just to remind you that this business is not all or nothing. And you're going to have really incredible months, and you're also going to have really hard months where it doesn't feel as easy. Or let me see if I can exit out of this screen share. Stop share. I want to see you guys' faces again. There's going to be months where it feels easy and like you're on top of the world and your rank advancing and Success Club is coming naturally and people are coming to you and you're in the middle of results and that's just kind of like on fire. And there are going to be seasons that feel like you're drudging through the trenches. Success Club 10 is hard and there is not a single person left to help. I don't love 30-day breakaway because I am not a runner. I'm still going to share it because I could help someone out there connect with that program. There's going to be launches or updates to the Coach Online office that make things difficult for a time being. That's the current thing I'm feeling right now. And you just kind of have to say, you know what? I'm going to control the controllable. I'm going to show up the best way that I can today. And I'm going to go to bed with my head hitting the pillow, knowing that I showed up the best I could today as a mom, as a wife, as a husband, as a leader. And that's all we can do, because if we spend all night beating ourselves up for the things that we couldn't do you think you're going to wake up ready to take action the next day? Absolutely not. Our brain is constantly looking for the path of least resistance, and it's looking to protect us from those feelings that, feel icky or feel hard, or that fear or that failure or whatever those feelings are that you're avoiding. But if you just feel it and say, you know what, I fell short there today, but I did what I could and I feel okay with that, then you can wake up ready to take on the next day.
Amazing, Brittnay. Thank you so much for that. It's really funny because like your call sort of and your talk there really resonated. Like I was reading a journal article today around like COVID and how people are like so anxious just now that like the way that they can feel better is by doing exercise, but they're too stressed and anxious to do it. Mm-hmm. And so if we draw a parallel to what the feedback was, which is, hey, adopt a mindset where like something's better than nothing.
Yep.
Like do a little bit every day and do the easy stuff, the things that you have to do mm-hmm. if you're feeling anxious or you're having a difficult day. And it's like, it's pretty much exactly what you've just said there. And like, I love that, how you're sort of saying like, lean into it. And you're so right. I think people do, like we all do. It's like, it's so easy to watch what other people are doing and focus in on that, rather than just sort of leaning into what it is that we know that we can do and paying attention to what we can do. And like you say, controlling the controllables. And I've written down your little like soil response to seeds, not just wishes and dreams. Mm-hmm. So I think that one's fantastic. So yeah, like absolutely amazing. I'm going to open it up to everybody else now. So like, I know Maggie I think she's going to have some questions there because I saw her popping up with some little bits and pieces. But guys, amazing opportunity here to like learn from some of the best and people who are pushing forward in the network just now. So pop your questions, either just unmute and shout them out. I'll put it into gallery view so that we can see you all, and just unmute and ask away your questions. Go on, Maggie. You were saying lots there. You know, you have some questions.
It was great. It's so nice to hear like frazzled, crazy mum, I think a lot of us are on here like that. But it wasn't really questions, but I like captions that you can put on t-shirts, because it seems like sound bites. So I love what you said. There's always a human needing to get healthy. That's a t-shirt maker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another one you said was, the thing you said, you don't have to all or nothing. Mm-hmm. So Amola, he's been talking about that as well. He's saying, just show up, and I just think that's probably a shift in how we're all moving towards that. Before it was all or nothing, burn yourself out. But I think I don't know, because I am completely and utterly Beachbody, but in all of the fitness industries, I think, are we moving towards that healthier approach now? And I think everyone should maybe get behind that big time. That's all. I just really feel fired up again.
I think that's having to run away for the kids there.
Yeah, I saw that.
But guys, anybody got any other sort of questions and things for Brittnay when she manages to come back there with stuff? what do you think are going to be the actions and things that you guys are going to take off the back of that? Because I think it's quite good. Like I want to start making a point of that you guys are going to take actions. There we go.
Sorry, he was like banging on the door. I was going to say one more thing after Maggie. Something I tell my clients all the time, and I think it's good to remind our coaches too. A lot of my girls, they'll miss 1 or 2 days of the workout because of a sickness or a travel or something. And they want to start over. And sorry, I'm out of breath now. But the slight edge or the compound effect, there's a lot of personal development books that talk about just picking up where you left off. And I think that it's so hard for us to like accept that it's okay to start, week 4, day 3 on a Friday because you missed Wednesday and Thursday, because then you're not moving forward if you're constantly starting over. And so just like accepting that it's okay, to have like a rest day in the middle of the week if your kid ends up sick or something like that. And so just moving forward in that grace and that something is better than nothing really helps you remain fluid and flexible in your approach to a healthy lifestyle, but also in this business.
Amazing. And I think we're going to finish up on that. And Brittnay, just like, if we can get a wee selfie first off, so everybody like smile. Awesome. And just to thank you so much for your time and your words of wisdom there to help coming on. And thanks to you, wee man, for popping your face in, because we know you wanted to get on screen in Scotland.
He can't hear you because I have headphones on. Can you say hi to Scotland?
What are they doing?
He said, "What are they doing?" Those are my mommy's friends across the pond. Thanks for having me, you guys.
No worries. Thank you so much, Brittnay. Have a great one. And guys, thank you. See you on another call, which is just starting just now, Business Builders.